Welcome back to the live action here at the fields in Caorle. It's the Ultimate Championships of Europe 2022, and Reading Ultimate in the mixed division fighting up against Pook of France. It's an immediate put from the palms of Conor Hogan and an easy goal. One pass offense for Reading to get this game underway.
Well, that's one way to start things off here, Hannah, isn't it? Very efficient on the offensive end, our Reading. One throw, what a throw. Good reception, picked a nice target, had a big target down the other end. And Reading get on the board nice and early with a lead on one throw.
Oh no, we tell a lie. There was a centering pass from Klima to get the disc into the hands of Conor Hogan. The Irishman has played for a number of different mixed teams in the UK scene, but chose to come across to play for this Reading outfit. Wilson, the target in the deep space. But a very nice way to start off, and not what Puck would have hoped for. They're going to have to work to shut those ones down. But an interesting one, the mixed team from France coming out with a mixture of their first and second team players. So perhaps a little bit more focusing on the development side rather than ascending to the top spots. But of course, Reading, after their excellent campaign, finishing 7th at Worlds, will be seeing if they can sneak another medal from the European Championships, as they did many moons ago in Venice. Pook now on offense, trying to make it work in the around. Big attack from Bex Palmer, the captain of this Reading side, manages to just cause enough damage on San Marco and immediately goes to the races for the goal.
Great finishing throw there for Reading. Prescott picks up immediately after the air. The throw too far for San Marco. She's never afraid to throw the body on the line as she did there. To ill effect that time, or inefficiently enough that she didn't make the grab. Got beyond her after a tip. Great defense by Beck's fourth. I think you got to give her that. And she's off and running. And look at that beautiful dime to cash in. Redding ahead with one hold efficiently, ahead with another break efficiently. 3 throws, 1 break, and a score. Not a bad way to kick things off, Hani.
Absolutely, pretty much exactly what they want, I would probably wager. But a good start for the British side. Of course, Pook having represented their nation of France at the Masters Ultimate Club Championship, so they had a very talented roster.
Masters, they were also at WCC. As you said, this is a bit more of a development squad. I think you got a bit of their Master, a bit of the WCC, a couple of the new crew, and here they are. Let's see what they do on the second offensive possession.
Well, there's huge pressure on the underneath, trying to stop the resets, maybe force the French into slightly longer passes, but a pick is going to be called as San Marco receives the underneath. Cantu on the far side. Just grinding the underspace now, Michael. Oh, bit of a hesitation on the cut from Cantu. It's going to give another turn. Marius Hutchison winds up for the big back cut, but decides to go for the reset instead. Sensible stuff. But he does eventually launch, has what in the end zone, just on the back corner. Some nice footwork. And Andrew Watt with the goal.
Big shot down the sideline there. Mario Cantu in front on the defense. He's been keeping that shoulder strap, trying to do everything he can. Does put the body on the line, but the bigger receiver making the best of his size there in the end. In front position, could never catch up, and just well read and used the field well there too. Really back cone, watched his feet and took advantage of his size, and a beautiful throw.
Well, the man who kept, we're talking about master sides, of course, Reading Ultimate, also representing at the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships. I'm very sad they didn't go for their pun name, which was Reading Glasses. Of course, lots of people get confused by the way that we spell Reading. It does appear exactly the same way we spell reading. But what, of course, turning up, keeping the players nicely oiled as physio for that side. And hello to Mummy and Daddy Watt, if you're watching this one. I found out Watt's actually from very near to where I'm from, a place called Hailing Island.
A place called which island?
Hailing Island.
Hailing, well.
He hails
that is
Hailing.
Actually spelled like the weather form of hailing. It's hailing outside.
No, H-A-Y-L-I-N-G.
Of course, the English butcher the English. Well, here come the French anyways, Hannah.
Absolutely, and they're putting together some very nice offense, but sneaking through comes Joe Brown, a slightly loose up-line pass. Great attack from the Reading defender. Palmer now moving it into the middle. Brown again, who's going to put up a huge one, but that's going to be well defended. Mansour just getting in the right space to prevent the pass.
And another chance for Pook the last time around. That was Natalia Bocanegra. There you see the defense taking it back, but Natalia put one just a bit too far in front. Reading snacked on it in the end zone and went the other way. It looked like it was going to be a big run of breaks, but Pook has a chance right through the hands of Lamboles, and she had hurt herself earlier in the tournament, but happy to see she's back as Reading is back on the doorstep.
Joe Brown looking at the inside shot, looking around, throws a spicy pass. There's a clutch collection from Bex Palmer.
Honey hands, sticky fingers, what have you, but that one should have been dropped. That was That was really coming in hot. A lot of mustard on that, French's, Dijon, whatever you like, and just hung on to with hands of glue.
If you think that should have been dropped by Bex Palmer, then you've never seen Bex Palmer play Frisbee.
All right, I'm saying should have been dropped by most humans playing this sport or not. That came in hot. She manipulated her wrist well. She turned the hand around. She got up in a moment's notice, and yes, she is a wonderful athlete and player, and reminded us why. And so yes, could have easily been dropped and excusable is maybe a better way to have put it.
I think it's probably, the summation is Joe Brown could have made that a lot easier, but he made Bex look real good.
Yeah, she did a good job making herself look good as well.
Oh, for sure.
So Reading off a loss in a rain-delayed game yesterday against Groot, but seemingly we're sticking tight with the tournament favorite here.
Absolutely, and they were saying ahead of the game they really wanted to come out strong here, and that is quite a way to take control of the game early stages. 4-0 they currently lead over Pook, although we did see Fab have the same fate against Dublin's Gravity this morning, and Gravity gnawed it back with a huge run in the second half. So it ain't over till it's over in the very opening minutes of this game. With not even 10 minutes expired yet, but the run through D from Rosie, who's been like Bambi on ice on these pitches. They are a little bit slippy underfoot. It's going to get it back foot, Reading, but it's an overshoot. Emma Klima can do nothing but watch that one fade into the dust.
Overshoot, but ruthlessly attacking right now. They're waiting out the defense. They're standing in the lane, a little bit poachy. They're in the right places, and then just coming at them hot when they get a chance. I mean, they opened up with these one-throw scores on the bounce, on the breaks, and they're about 2 feet in front of making it happen again. But it didn't happen, so Pook will walk it to the line. Pook, once known as Pook, that is, Paris Ultimate Club. I'm glad they've dropped the No need for that.
I mean, it seems like it should come with a dance move without a Pook, but an error on this swing is going to give a short field opportunity for Reading. Let's see what they can do with an end zone set here. Marius Hutchison, a long time, very experienced handler. Probably, I would say probably STM for Reading is going to put a beautiful around lefty flick break immediately into the path of Ben Withers.
I'll happily watch that replay again. That was a beautiful throw from static. Not even a huge pivot, but just a casual back step there. Nice angle on the throw. Beautiful release, and made to look easy as it was.
Beautiful thing about being a lefty, Stefan, you can throw pretty much wherever you like.
Yeah, even when people expect it, they don't expect it. There it is. Look at that. Look at that lean back. It was more of a lean than the pivot. He did pivot backwards. He did take some of that space on the pivot, but more just the body lean, and made that one count. And I don't know if we have a timeout. No, they're on their lines. I mean, Pook have a lot to discuss. Their offense has to stop the bleeding, so to speak, here. They've got to walk one in, and they can choose however they want to do that. They can try fighting fire with fire and seeing if they can bomb one, huck it, because they're poaching, they're playing the unders effectively, the Reading defense, or if they can show some discipline and run some efficiency in their offense and go through the hands of all 7 players.
Well, at the moment, we know that Pook like to play this handler-led driven style from the back. And it's oftentimes you see teams sag off. Oh, that's a beautiful shot into space and a nice high left grab. But they're playing such tight match on the handlers are Reading, which has been causing some issues, but that one snuck through and was beautiful. Can they sink it in? It's another big expansive shot, but it's going to be tipped away. Danny Ryle rising in the center of the field. Knew exactly what was going to go on.
Mario Cantu with an errant pass there. Just when things were starting to look good, they give him a gift straight back.
It was a nice idea, but we didn't keep everybody engaged and busy in the downfield. And Reading, poster running away with this one, finds Ryle poached off on the near sideline. Reading, we're talking about keeping the play on one side of the field because it is starting to get slippy and muddy out there. Brown. Nice inside shot to roll, overthrows him. Can it be seen? No, it cannot. An error is going to let the disc go back. Hannah Scott trying to run that one down, but good defensive positioning, closed the door on it.
French get it back. Jérôme Roussel, an ex-Révolutionnaire player. There's about 3 or 4 of them that are now on the Pook side here as Michael goes up and takes it. It's for Pook and Zorluk.
No immediate throw. Is going to have to look for the reset and stall count rises. Just coming out. Boution. Nearly goes for the dad. The dad backhand, the inside backhand toss.
Goodness.
Features often at barbecues.
Is there a place for that in this game still?
I mean, if you can make it work.
Apparently so. A completion's a completion.
Cantu, disc in hand. Oh, a push pass. Love to see that. Giving and going and dishing.
There it is. Where there's the goal, there's the breakthrough is what I was referring to when I said there it is. I was way like, the break side was wide open and they were just cutting open side, open side, open side.
Well, it's because everybody was clustered to the near side, to the open side of the field. They were, I don't know if that was intentional, but Pook Stack was very uncomfortable in terms of trying to generate space on the open side. You saw there that earlier shot trying to be visionary and expand to the back left pocket. Snuffed away by Danny Raul, who then unfortunately couldn't quite make a hero of himself. But you see there the position of the stack so close to this near side. It really opens up that sort of soft over the top hammer, which of course is a really lovely break to throw in these low wind conditions.
Well weighted hammer for a short distance hammer. Those ones can have a tendency to come out as flubbers with not enough spin on them. They'll wobble, but that one was well thrown, well executed. Now Reading's second time that we've seen their O-line out. We corrected ourselves and said it was indeed a 2-throw offense the last time. This time it's simply stopped and in Connor Hogan's hands. So if he decides the same thing, it would be a 1-throw, but it's not.
Indeed, moves it to Roberts. Looking around for options. Nice easy one under to Wilson, who of course was on the leg end of that first decisive scoring pass, but a pick off in the center of the field. Nice work from Dubadin. Just gets in the way and causes some mischief.
And the Pook D-line, they're happy to be out here.
Oh, hot pressure under from Emma Klima, well caught over the top. Fakes the hammer over the top, goes for a beautiful blade. Wilson underneath, but unfortunately cannot prevent Nicolas Dubonnin for the goal for Pook, and this is more like it. They break back.
Break back, Anne-Sophie Herling, number 68 there, really kept that break conversion together. It was, they got the turn, one easy pass to get it moving, and she really used her body well. I'm sure we're gonna see it again. It could be what we're looking at right there. She kept that alive, and then they were off to the races. That throw up the line, and a beautiful read, a beautiful take, top of the leap, and there's their break. So if they can turn this into a run now and get one more, then they've got a whole bunch of momentum. Now they've stopped the bleeding. They've got the bandage upon.
A tourniquet.
Yes. Now can they take that strike back?
Well, we will have to see. Reading's O-line now coming back out once more. They were picture perfect the first time. That one's a little bit loose. Be run down with attack by Connor Hogan. Hogan poached off. We did expect to see perhaps a little bit of zone, trying to trap Reading on this sideline with their cup.
I like the call. It's the right time for it.
Absolutely, keep that defensive look changing. Roberts in to Andy Lewis, one of the captains, of course, of this Reading side. Previously played for Clapham, but came back to play in the mixed division. Coward far side. This is now about keeping composure for the offense if they can, as the French defense gives them a different puzzle to look at. Nice movement inside to Caorle.
Will they transition or will they hold this zone on a shorter field?
We've seen a lot of teams holding the zone in these low wind conditions, just trying to sort of, confuse the space rather than melt to match.
They finally just melted.
Leicester far side, it's going to be a big roller to Helen Roberts and collects it easily. Nothing that Anne-Sophie Hurling can do but just watch it into the palms.
And Reading does well to navigate the zone look. It went through a lot of hands. It took them a little bit of time. They're not throwing their 1-throw, 2-throw offenses against it. So to that end, I still like the call. I don't think Pook, well, hey, they get a score now. But when they get their next defensive opportunity, I don't think they can lean on that zone. But it was, I think it was good timing. Give them a different look. Give them something, make them, go through a lot of sets of hands to get a goal rather than the deep throws that have been successful for them up to this point.
Yeah, it's definitely got to keep that defensive rhythm changing, throw different looks to your opponents, whether that's changing the force, maybe similar like force. I'm a big fan of force middle in general, Stefan, and I know that zone we just saw out of Pook was designed to pin Reading to the edges of the field.
I feel like force middle has had a resurgence. It is something that is has come and gone. There's been forced returns, but there's so many people using the FM nowadays. This force middle, it's come back. Nice, oh, nice bid.
But Mario Cantu unable to keep it in his hands. Pook, of course, did have a sudden death win against Lemmings earlier today, which might have taken a little bit of gas out their tank, as we see Ben Withers trotting into the end zone, completely covered by a snood. We know who you are, Ben. We see you.
I'm still not with it enough to use that word confidently. A snood.
Snood.
Still call it like a head scarf thing.
Well, there's the unfortunate error for Cantu. A bit of give-go action between Hutchison and Withers.
And now that we're getting another look at the snood, to be very honest, it's a whole head covering. Maybe it's to stop these, what do we call these?
Flying ants.
They're flying ants.
They are flying ants.
There's an Italian word for them, Maddie. Anyways, we'll get to that. But maybe it's to prevent that, but on style points alone, no, I'm not with the blue snood on the navy and red uniform.
It's eye-catching. Definitely eye-catching.
Eye-catching, but I mean, standing out on a team with eye-catching colors, if that was a team I was coaching, that would not be allowed, Hannah.
Well, I mean, if we were at a Worlds event or some such that had, particularly strict kit rules, all the things are supposed to match. The hats are supposed to match, the gloves are supposed to match. Yeah, it looks very professional.
I like that in terms of selling the sport and the tournament, but I like that in terms of what it does for the team ethos, team culture, and a D there for Reading to get it back.
Absolutely. Talk about you getting your team culture. That's going to fire you up, and immediately for the score, Ryan Coons, and that is half for Reading Ultimate. A big block coming out into this one, and this is a statement game for Reading.
Is it ever? Marius Hutchinson, I'll just talk about that throw again there. There's the big block. Okay, the block, that's the big point, but he has just pick it up. I got a lefty bomb, and I'm going to use it. I'm not afraid to use it. So in transition, you guys better be ready, or I'm going to have you covered like he did just there. And Reading, yeah, just really putting it to him right now. Pook are going to have to get in that circle and search deep in the well for some answers, Hannah.
Well, as they hunt for answers, we're going to take a brief break with some sponsors, but we'll be back with the second half after this.
Right now,
he's going to have to bid. Just a football. Huge layout block. Unbelievable stuff on the front corner of the end zone.
Maybe just that boost of energy they needed.
Huge swing pass and a great grab there from Steer.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Nova Scotia Electric, become a member.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
Welcome back to the second half. We have Pook of Paris, France versus Reading of Reading. Reading, in fact. Hold on. Put my teeth back in. Reading Ultimate of Reading,
So
UK.
Shouldn't that be spelled R-E-D-D-I-N-G, Hannah?
I mean, you'd think so. All right, you know, for our North American friends, perhaps they might think it could be spelled a little bit like is it Otis Reading? Am I thinking correctly?
Is it which?
Oh, never mind.
Oh, goodness.
We'll leave that one there. But
Reading or not, they are reading their opposition here and are dominating this game thus far. 8-2. Pook are going to have to come up with all sorts of answers to even find a sniff of a way back into this one.
absolutely, and relatively spread across the stats board. We are perhaps seeing, you know, some not double duty, some duty from some offensive line players coming across and playing defense for Reading. But the number one person on the stats board, of course, Marius Hutchison, the lefty handler, who's been going to work. But Pook on the disc now. Nice easy movement on the unders. Lewis Dobnat. Oh, that's a nice big backhand. Can it be taken down? Oh, yes, it can. What a read from Roger Michael to bring that one in and get this second half underway for Pook.
Jérôme Roussel wound up the backhand from the sideline there. Roger Michael, or peut-être Roger Michel, got up big there and came down with that one. A big defender on his hip there was Ryan Coons just behind him. He had to get up early and take that at the top of the jump. I think if he was anywhere near conservative here, the defender really would have had a chance, but read well, used his position, and the throw was to the perfect space.
Well, that's also a peel-off. Looking at that one back, Coons was not actually the intended matchup for Michael. I mean, it's written as Michael rather than Michel on the roster, so that's what I'm going for. But yeah, no, that was completely getting totally leaving Joe Barron for dust. So excellent work on the legs to get that next score in for Pook. They have quite the job to do. They are trailing 4, 5, 6, 7 breaks.
But they did the first part. They came out of half and they scored, they held.
Oh, exactly. The first step in any journey is that indeed first step. So Reading now, though, on offense, looking nice. That's a bit of a low pass, so missed execution from Helen Roberts and the turnover.
Yeah, that one slipped out of the hands. A flub throwing error that Pook will happily take the advantage of. Let's see how much of an advantage they can turn it into. If they can walk this one in, they've got a long walk to go. It will come in on their own goal line.
Yeah, if you're going to turn over, you might as well do it with yards.
Yeah. Miskovic picking up the disc and carrying it to that front corner of hers where she'll kick things underway.
Indeed, the sibling of the number 28, Theo Miskovic. They enjoy throwing hucks to each other, I've been told, but that's a big one coming out into the space. Oh, and that is going to sit and hang. Two defenders underneath it, but absolutely roofs them both. Great stuff from Bocanegra. The holster initially. Moving across. Oh, and just a little bit of tasty footwork, but a call back. No, stall out has been called by Helen Roberts way back when. We got far too excited by the action on the field.
And again, this is a lot of emotional retraction here, but the huck, obviously not ideal, hung up. Natalia Bocanegra Gomez, heck of a play in traffic. The continuation, great score, and it all comes back to the first throw of the sequence. It's funny when that's happening, when like 8 or 9 players are still putting in 100% effort and 2 or 3 or 4 have already stopped and are standing and repeatedly yelling stall out, foul, violation, whatever it may be. I get a kick out of that sometimes, but I'm sure Pook at this instance are getting a bit less of a kick out of it, whether they agree or not.
Well, it was a huge play, and that now I understand a bit more why the scoring player for Pook was quite so all alone. I guess it's because other players in the field had completely stopped. A high release across is going to be tipped away, though. Wilson applying the pressure and making unable Diertele to grab that one in. So Hogan. Roberts immediately off to the far side of the end zone, and that's a super easy goal after the contested stall out.
That was a very different result from the one that happened pre-stall out. A great string of highlighting plays to a meager turnover, and Connor Hogan picking up, knowing that there's not a mark that he is not afraid to break. He is ready to break anybody's mark, especially if you give him that much room and on a centering mark. He is going to attack it with that backhand pivot step. He's got a wide set of shoulders there, does Connor Hogan. He can step around nice and easy, and his release points are silky smooth. He's an impressive thrower. He's been doing it a long time now, and that backhand break there lets you know what all that practice can account for.
Yeah, for a sort of a big statured individual, he's surprisingly delicate.
Yeah, I mean, he's nimble enough, he moves well enough, he's a handler. He doesn't have to cut up and down the length of the field all game long. When he needs to, he can, but he's nimble enough to get open, and then his throwing ability and his moving with the disc, his pivoting is sensational.
But Pook now needing to put something together. An offhand backhand to the open side. We do love to see it. Michael trying to hit Cantor. Oh, and Bex Palmer with the high grab. 3 defenders, though. They dialed that one in very hard. Oh, huge effort. Nearly takes the hands off of Coons.
Is he going to throw to end zone? That is the question.
It's his job. He has Danny Ryle isolated in the space. He's going to have to hold it, and he does. A half a head high above everybody else on the field. An easy target to hit. Wearing mismatched cleats, as one does.
As he does. Yeah, that guy, you know, he's not short. That is for sure. And he made use of not being short in that instance. And there it is, though. Number 12, Marius Hutchinson. Everything he touches is a success. That is, he is throwing gold. He's throwing to the right targets. He's making it float when he's got the big men. He's throwing lasers when he needs to put it in a tight space. He's got a wide range of throwing. So we were just talking about Connor Hogan's throwing. Yes, he's been attacking the breaks. He's a center handler, run the offense. But this Marius Hutchinson doing it on the other side of the disc, waiting for opportunities, not necessarily fighting breaks, but just the picking it up and throwing with full confidence.
Well, one of the reasons why Marius is more of a D-line than an O-line handler is because, to be fair, Marius does work very hard on his agility, his shape, his conditioning. He can move around the field quite nicely. But also it's the fact that occasionally he can be, some might say, baited into making spicy choices.
Well, those spicy choices are easier to get away with when you're playing defense. I find an aggressive attacking D-line is easier to accept than doing the same on an O-line that practices repetition.
And that is why I'm a D-line handler. So Mansour has thrown some pretty lovely ones up that sideline, throws a slicey inside. With the hot pressure of Reading's defense, they are absolutely gunning for this game. Diatele with the disc in hand as they're going to be pulled back for a little pick. Right, wide open in the middle. Diola Inaji, who had escaped Imi Wong by pulling around some other players. So back in play. Oh, it's a nice disc. Coombs nearly has it. He's going to have a little chat saying maybe he got it first. That looked pretty close against Mehdi Mansour. Pretty much as close as it can get on that replay. So retracted call. And we're going to play on from that front cone. So the traditional end zone set from Pook. Big amount of contact. Coward immediately accepts the foul. Pauli Lambolet tapping us back in. Jinking in front goes the marks. Joe Brown trying to reach over the top shoulder, but that's the goal. Contention, I think.
Indeed it was. Lamboles with the throw. Another that I coached back in the days of Révolutionnaire, Pauline Lamboles, as mentioned earlier, came off an injury, first point of game one, testing it out in between games, and she said she was going to give it a go. She's given it enough of a go to get on that field, and after a small discussion has enough in the tank to throw a cheeky little short throw assist there. High release flick.
And Ale with the score. Zachary, young Zachary the 42. So the Parisians trailing 10-4 behind Reading Ultimate, who talked about coming out and controlling this game and adjusting and adapting. They've got a bit, it's a bit of a mixture on the roster for the French side. And they definitely have made those tweaks to shut things down. Although Pook are starting to try and come back into this game. They've sort of got their fingertips on the edge, like just trying to pull themselves up.
We're not dead yet.
Certainly not.
10-4 reminds me of the old Dukes of Hazzard days, walkie-talkie talk. 10-4 there, little fat buddy. And we're off and running. Reading again in the hands of Connor Hogan.
Quadrant across to Roberts. Reading are very excited for the next Masters Championships because they have a generation of Ultimate players. You see a cheeky scuba over the top.
Because they are old. That's what you wanted to say.
No, it's they're waiting for a cohort of players who are very soon to graduate out into the Masters division.
I'm going to bite my lip on what we also could have said about their age there, of what they might be waiting for.
Death?
Was at the tip
Andy
of my
Lewis.
tongue.
Andy Lewis finding Nicole Lester, the former GB karate athlete. Came across to play non-contact sport. Occasionally takes the odd knock though. Lester looking around for options. Resets. Wilson now considering. Oh, and a lovely find into the palms of Lawrence Hill, who's been grinding it out in the handler space and decides to come forward and get a goal of his own.
Lawrence Hill killing me softly. with his song. Nice score there. That was kind of a breakthrow, right down the middle, kind of the mark. If you have another look here, like that was a force flick. He goes to the other side, but only just. It was coverage error. The coverage was giving far too much space there to make it an easy inside throw, not even necessarily a breakthrow there. Pook went back to the zone there. This time, Reading handled it with more ease than they did the first time they saw it. And they couldn't really transition out. They did transition out of it, but with all sorts of space. The last 3 throws were open throws, and break throws were made to look like open throws. So Pook, I mean, they're digging in their bag of tricks. But the bag of tricks, that zone for the second time was not enough to do it. As a dropped pull by Mario Cantu is a microcosm of what this game might be looking like in their heads, and they give an easy opportunity to Reading.
Oh, that is absolute heartbreak hotel. Hutchison fakes and then throws the lefty hammer over the top into the box of Bex Palmer. And that is just, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that 30 seconds. Let's just ignore that happened and move forward.
Yeah, we got to move forward. It's tough to ignore from an analyst seat. If I go back to my uniform talk, he's not wearing proper shorts, so I'm going to put it on that. He's got his own shorts on, and you know, you wear your own shorts, you drop pulls, you wear the uniform properly, and everything goes right. But that's not exactly how it goes, but that's all I'm going to chalk it up to for now.
It's one of those difficult things when you're, you know, in a game when you're down, and then you start to have curious errors like that. Like the Cantu, there's no way that is expected to happen. I mean, it's such an important part of the game. Is actually how you field the pull. You have to clap. Like if you can catch it and get it moving straight away, that gives you such an advantage. And it's one of the reasons why actually pulling technique and skills is one of the things that's really important to develop. And shout out to the European Federation for immediately implementing the gendered pulling rule. Of course, we're using the ABBA ratio rule, ABBA, so you start with one of the ratios, place 2 points, the next 2 points, 2 points, etc. We love it. But the gendered pulling is actually, I think personally, really great in actually allowing teams to focus on those pulling skills, because it's so often dominated by certain players. So we see Andy Watt try and sneak the disc away from Pook, but cannot prevent it.
And let's see how this, that doesn't look good for Pook as Reading gets up and takes it away. There is a discussion. As they discuss going back to the pulling, I think a lot of teams have, I love the ABBA rule, I love that that's been implemented, I love that more genders get to pull, but I do like to have a short list of people who actually pull. I like it to be a specialized position. What I think is something that is very important that gets overlooked on a lot of programs is pull reception. And okay, we talk about it there at drop. Like I think there are little things to do about fielding the actual catch of the pull or the stoppage of the disc on the ground, but it is the positioning of the players surrounding that tends to get lazy, and people just wait for the pull to get caught and then moved, and they're not on the move, you know, reading the pull as a secondary receiver. And I think pull reception is something that needs to be practiced even more. Stopping rolling pulls is something that people do poorly, and they don't recognize that they do it poorly often. It's something that when people do it well, it's like, I barely noticed. And this conversation's gone on long enough that they may just come to our screen to check it out. And if they do, we'll be ready to show them a replay. But they're going to call the tournament. And
they're calling it a turnover on the field. They don't need our slow-mo replays. Like most games in Ultimate, you don't get live streams, so it's good to have those skills. So Watt with the disc is going to throw immediately to Emma Klima, who has a lot of space. The defender tried to get there. Elisa Tejeda but unfortunately there was just too much separation to run that one down without cleaning out Klima.
Great throw there by Andrew Watt. Wound up the backhand a lot. Another quick transition. Reading, you know, whatever happened on that call, my initial look of it, I haven't really analyzed the replay, but my initial look was that it was a clean enough D. It was thrown to a space where Andrew Watt was already occupying, and he was the bigger body in it. He got that D. They discussed it, they had a chat about it, and then he still just went right back to making them pay about it. A big backhand. Emma Klima was open before the play got called in. I guess a 1 minute discussion, he could really recognize how far behind the defense she was, and just yeah, took it immediately as soon as they were back in.
Yeah, Klima, if I recall correctly, playing for a juniors team called Hedgehogs. I once played indoors against her, and I'm a lot taller than Emma Klima is. And she came up, I was there, I had position, I had both hands ready to catch the frisbee. She somehow managed to get inside of me, so between my arms, and just roof me gratuitously, and it was great, and I have so much time for it. But great to see her going to work out in the deep space. But there is a beautiful shot, just not quite read correctly by Lambourlet. It was a good one, but she just turned around and lost her speed.
Yeah, too early. She spun. She thought she had it read, and she didn't. And it got away from her, and by the time she realized she was 2 steps away, she didn't have enough time or space to catch up those steps. And I guess that move that you described that Klima pulled on you, it sounds almost like she hedgehogged you. Coming from a team of the Hedgehogs, she was emulating their mascot, and hedgehogged inside, burrowed a little bit of space between your arms and took it away.
So Leicester with the around Hutchison.
Uh-oh, Hutchison.
Oh, that might have a bit too much flow.
But yes, it is in! Wasn't even supposed to be in, but because it was out of Hutchison's hands, the receiver decided to go up early to make him look like it was an error for a second. He didn't want to catch that in bounds in proper play. Made the receiving error so that he could catch it as a goal. Marius Hutchinson would get credited for another goal because that's all that he throws.
I think, to be honest, you're being far too kind. That was a loose disc that clearly had to be well attacked by Withers.
So Ben Withers didn't do that on purpose, you don't think?
Oh, absolutely, categorically not. It was a loose, high-hanging disc. Withers had to try and attack it aggressively because the defender was there in the space, and then just kind of got fortunate. But that is the thing, when you throw with as much touch as Marius Hutchison, as much spin on the disc as he's able to generate, you get out of jail free every now and then.
I know you're playing with me. I thought I laid my sarcasm on nice and thick there, but of course that was an errant throw by Marius Hutchison.
Not everyone knows you this well, Staffan. We have to let the people know that Marius Hutchison is not a god. He is just human, and that was one where he got a bit redeemed. But nice attack from Withers to go up twice to continue chasing down the frisbee. Coming out of Newcastle University, Pies originally.
And so game point to 4 if once disc is in hand. It is a Pook 0 point, but the rate of breaks, I wouldn't be surprised if Reading got a game point opportunity in this point.
What would be a nice mirror image for Reading, because they did 5 to start us off, and if they could do 5 to close us off, that could be a nice little balance. However, it would be good to see Pook keep this game alive a little bit longer. They haven't been playing poorly, just a couple of errors here and there. Reading have just absolutely been ruthless.
Would that indicate that their 5 points in the middle were their weakest and that they need to work on their middle game because they were more efficient on the front and back end?
I mean, you said it, and I'm not going to disagree. Just on that.
But they need to break, or else none of that counts.
Just a brief stoppage, Cantu.
Got some techno starting to near its way to the fields. I suspect there are some Germans around.
Other nations do also enjoy the music of techno in the house.
Yeah.
Boutillon, though, looking around. All of the players for Pook are so close to this near side, and you just see the single hand of Alice Samarco, unfortunately dropping the disc
The savvy veteran showing that veteranship is not all it's cracked up to be in every moment. And Hutchinson has gone for gold. Goodness gracious, Beck's fourth got underneath that one.
That's Palmer.
Beck's Palmer, Beck's. I'm talking about the wrong Beck's.
There's just so many famous Frisbee Beckses from the UK.
Yes.
There's just so many to choose from, but I'm not even going to have to change my assist by box doing the stats here. It's another Marius Hutchinson special, and it is good. I like how it was perfectly weighted for Beck's Palmer to collect without having to make any huge bids. Just nice and easy, and I think if I had to say one thing about that game, Stefan, that was Reading Ultimate on cruise control.
Cruise control. It was fast, quick, and easy. Like we said, okay, maybe they lost a tidbit of their efficiency in the middle, but it's because they were exceptionally efficient at the front and back end of that game. They started off with the foot down. They were downhill steamroll driving by the end of it. Pook had no answers, and Reading is looking to get back to they want Groot again. I can only imagine that with a tight match to start things off, a steamroll in here, they've got their sights set on getting to a final and playing spoiler in this tournament.
Well, they did do very well at the World Ultimate Club Championships, but a few weeks ago, credit to Pook, though, a mixture of their first and second teams. They have some real talent, and obviously coming up and being able to give that experience to your second team players of playing at the European Championships. They are, ones to watch for the future for sure. A decorated program back on the ascendance here in Caorle, but it's going to wrap us up for the action in that game, but stay glued to the streams. We are bringing you dual action. Still plenty to watch in the women's crossover happening behind us on the other side. That is Disco Bolo of Bologna, Italy versus Synthesis, the combo team from the women's scene in GB. But on this field next, we'll have MUC from Germany versus Ranelagh, who had a surprise win over CUSB La Forta yesterday in the rain delay, and Disconnection versus Catch Up Mixed. We'll follow that women's game on the other side, but keep your eyes glued. We're going to take a break, grab yourself some refreshments, and we'll see you on the other side.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ULTI.TV.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Merci beaucoup. ULTI.TV.